Here we go. Let's see what Governor Newsom has to say about Trump. Make sure you go over to Fox News and subscribe to them. And please comment, like, and subscribe. I just like randomly reacting to whatever is on the internet. And everyone else can get rich off it, so I figure, what the hell? Maybe I can help my mom retire this way. Anyway, let's get right into it.
California Governor Gavin Newsom today about how he is responding specifically to the new Trump tariff regime and what he thinks California should do on its own to combat and thwart it here. This was his message on social media. Let's listen.
Donald Trump's tariffs do not represent all Americans, particularly those that I represent here in the fifth largest economy in the world, the state of California. We value international trade. We value our manufacturing base, the largest manufacturing economy in the United States of America. We look forward to continuing to strengthen those ties, strengthen those bonds. I'll remind all our international trading partners, California is a stable trading partner, and we hope you consider that as it relates to California-made products.
Okay, so seeming like...
Okay, so have you seen the crazy shit that's been going on in California lately? With all the thefts and criminal shit, it's crazy. Governor Gavin is brain dead. 100% brain dead.
California Governor Newsom going it alone there. Let's get a kind of sense of what that may look like with a lot of people who cover California politics extremely closely, including Jeremy White there at Politico and Leah Russell at the Sacramento Bee. Should they join me? You guys, thanks for being with us on this Friday afternoon. Jeremy, I'm going to start with you here. What is this going to look like when Governor Newsom says that essentially we're going to go it alone, that he's going to try to negotiate California's own trade deals with some of these global partners? Do we know yet?
It's a little early to tell how much other trading partners are going to respond to this entreaty or this olive branch from Gavin Newsom. But I think the important context to remember here is there is a long history of California governors using the state's enormous economy and extensive global trading ties to make that case that it enjoys its own status as an economic force in the world. We've seen this with things like Governor Newsom and Jerry Brown before him, creating pacts on climate and trade with other countries or subnational governments. We saw it in the first term of the Trump administration when Governor Newsom made a deal with automakers to hew to California's emission standards, essentially saying if the federal government's not going to get it done, California will. So tariffs and international trade, complicated stuff, but there's no question that this is a well-established pattern of use.
California makes life difficult for everyone. And all the states around it.
Using California's economic clout to...
Not that I can say much. I live in Maine, and my governor still thinks it's okay for little boys that think they're girls to be in girl bathrooms. But that's a whole nother thing on its own.
Go a different direction from Washington.
Yeah, Leah, to you, I wanted to ask, does he have any help in this effort there at the State House in Sacramento? Oh, I think you might be muted there.
Sorry. Not that I'm hearing so far, but, Speaker Rivas has not said anything yet, but I imagine, he will. I believe, like Jeremy said, it's a little too early to tell, but, usually, with the Democratic supermajority, they tend to walk in lockstep with Governor Newsom.
Sure. I mean, he did just make this announcement just this morning. Jeremy, to you, though, I wanted to ask, has Governor Newsom been in touch with any Trump White House officials, or will he, about this?
I'm not able to say with certainty either way on that, but
Okay.
He has spoken about how he's been in touch with other world leaders. He didn't name them, but he made a point of being at the new Mexican president's inauguration when she was sworn in. So nurturing these international trade ties with California's big trade partners, principally China, Mexico, and Canada, is something that he's been working on pretty consistently for a while. And don't forget, California is a major exporter of agricultural products. It has some of the largest ports in the nation. And so you're talking about some real direct impacts to a lot of sectors of the California economy, whether that's agriculture, whether that's tech, other sectors of the export economy. So I think this is really in the governor's interest as he sees it to keep California's economy humming.
So, Leah, also, though, I mean, is he going to have any help maybe with some of these other Democratic governors from big blue states in this effort? Or, like I said to my previous question,
100%. All the Democrat governors and people in the House are going to be on his side because they're all crazy.
And do you think because of the economic nature of California, he's just going to do it alone?
There's certainly precedent for that as well.
Yeah.
He created a climate pact with the governors of Washington and Oregon already. And so I think the idea of sort of this blue West Coast economic pact doing its own thing is something we've seen before, and I wouldn't be surprised if we were to see it again. A question I have is, this is a White House that is known for exacting retribution for singling out people who it sees as its foes. We've already seen talk from the president and some of his allies about restricting wildfire aid to California in the wake of those devastating Los Angeles fires. That's something that is absolutely a source of anxiety for a lot of people in Sacramento. And so I think a larger theme with this Trump administration is when to play nice and when to stand up. Governor striking a bit of a defiant tone here, although I would say he's framing it as doing what's right for California, as opposed to necessarily putting a finger in Donald Trump's eye.
So this might be a hard question to answer, Leah, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Is this of a piece of what we have been hearing, the speculation and the rumors that have been circulating about whether or not Gavin Newsom wants to run for president in 2028? Is this just another example of maybe him setting himself apart from the Trump administration? Could you read it that way?
You could, but as we saw earlier this week when he spoke, or last week when he spoke to Bill Maher, he refused to say anything about his own aspirations, even though we've been seeing him take a number of steps. He has this podcast. As Jeremy said, he's been a little bit more outspoken. I think this is one of those scenarios where he has some plausible deniability and say, he could easily just say that he's, again, trying to do what's best for the Golden State.
It's obviously early, and 2026 seems like a long time away from here now. But a lot of people are announcing their bids for the gubernatorial election in California. Biden's former HHS secretary, the former attorney general there in California, Javier Becerra, did just this week. And maybe it's too early to ask this question, Jeremy, but does Newsom plan on endorsing a would-be successor? Is there an heir apparent?
It's a fascinating question. If he does, he certainly has not signaled as such to us. So I think the governor is a circumspect politician, and I don't think he would do anything to sort of disrupt those relationships. The field's also pretty unsettled. There's a lot of Democrats in there. People are still waiting to see what Kamala Harris is going to do. So I think I would not expect the governor to make an impetuous decision there. I think if he does endorse, it's going to be a long ways away.
Okay, and Leah, just lastly, back to the tariff question here. I mean, has the governor's office, fielded questions from constituents, worried Californians about the economy, and especially business leaders here? What about that angle?
Definitely. I mean, they haven't said anything today. Okay. I spoke to a spokesperson from his Office of Business and Economic Development who said that this was kind of a way as, we're starting to see the effects of the tariffs take effect on the markets. This is California's way of saying, no matter what happens, from the national perspective in California, we're still ready to honor our trade agreements, with Mexico and Canada, especially.
All right, Leah Russell, Jeremy White, thanks so much for your time, for your reporting on this Friday afternoon. Have a good weekend. We'll talk soon.
Thank you.
Thanks, Andrew. Thanks, Leah.
Well, there was that. Simple enough. Gavin Newsom is truly the scum of the earth. I agree with Donald Trump. Hands down. Anyways, please like, share, comment, and subscribe.